Hey, shalom everyone. This is Chris Shoemaker, also known as Yehuda Ben Shomer, and welcome to the Daily Drosh. Today's Daily Drosh is taken from Proverbs 21:2, and I'm going to be reading from the Tree of Life version. It says, "All a man's ways seem right in his own eyes, but Adonai weighs the heart." You know what I thought of when I read this verse the other day? I kid you not. Kind of shows my age. You remember the 1980s something movie, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure? All right, if you do, Bill and Ted go back in time and actually meet themselves when they're meeting the person that introduced them to time travel, the guy's name was Rufus. And so there's like, well, hey, hey, let's go talk to ourselves. And they go and they talk to them and say, hey, listen to this dude, Rufus. He knows what he's talking about. And then they go back into the time machine and they go off. And then the other version of the Bill and Ted are standing there and they're saying, well, should we listen to ourselves? Well, yeah, it's us, What if we're lying? And then the other one's like, well, why would we lie to ourselves? But the strange thing is we do lie to ourselves. We convince ourselves of what we want reality to be. We convince ourselves of the things that we want, and we want to convince ourselves that it's right. Jeremiah says that the heart is the most deceitful thing about us, and we could never fully understand it or fully know it. So we do have that capacity and that ability to lie to ourselves. The Proverbs again says, all a man's ways seems right in his own eyes. Lord, I want $1 million. Please let me win the lottery, because if I win the lottery, I could do so much for you. I could do so much for the kingdom, and we might convince ourselves of that. But you don't know really what you would do with that $1 million. Maybe you would use it for the Lord's work. We at least hope we would, right? But maybe the reality is, because our heart is so deceitful and we don't know it as well as we think we do, maybe we'll actually, become a rich snob and just blow and waste our money on just all the luxuries and all the things that this world has to offer. And I know that's just kind of a ridiculous example, but you know what? God weighs the motive. He knows the motive of our heart. He knows if we truly will use that $1 million for him, or if we'll use it foolishly or stupidly, right? And but it says that in Judges, it says everybody was doing what was right in their own eyes. And that's just an ancient early version of what we're experiencing today as postmodernism, where everybody has their own version of right and wrong, their own version of moral absolutes, And so a person can convince themselves that when they pray for something, or that when they desire something or ask the Lord for something, that they have the right motives, but maybe they don't, because it seems right in their eyes. We have our own logical way of thinking, but our logic can only go so far, because we are a finite created being. And our logic fails us because we're not as logical as we think we are. And maybe we don't see ahead, and we don't see all the pitfalls, and we don't see all of the possible, the possible outcomes of our desire or our decision or what we want to do or where we want to go. All a man's ways seems right in his own eyes, but Adonai, God, he weighs the heart. He ultimately knows the truth about us. He knows our motive. He knows if we have pure motives. He knows if we have an ulterior motive. So he is the one who knows the heart. And so a man's way seems right in his own eyes, but Adonai weighs the heart. And then there's another verse that says that I think it's Psalm 37:4, that if we delight ourselves in the Lord, he will give us the desires of our heart. But the more that we spend with God and spend in his word, the more that our own desires, our carnal, fleshly desires, are what seems right in our own eyes, will be transformed into God's desires and in his will, and what he wants and has for our lives, and what he wants for us. So our desires will ultimately become his desires, and then we know that our heart and our motive is pure, and God will bless us. And as Psalm 37:4 says, that if we delight ourselves in the Lord, he will give us the desires of our heart. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and if the Daily Drosh has blessed your life, don't forget to click the like button and share it with a friend. Thanks for watching. Shalom, Shavua Tov. Have a great day, folks.